Every man who has ever cared for a woman has asked himself one tough question at some point. Does she truly value me, or am I just an option in her life? That question can eat at you, because deep down you know when something doesn't feel right. A woman who values you will show it, not through words alone, but through consistent actions, respect, and effort. On the other hand, when a woman doesn't truly value you, her behavior will reveal it, no matter what she says. Here's the reality. Too many men today ignore the signs. They see the red flags but choose to explain them away. They tell themselves, she's just busy, or maybe I'm overthinking it. But ignoring the truth only leads to wasted time, frustration, and eventually heartbreak. That's why this message is so important. As men, you must protect your time, your energy, and your dignity. You need to recognize when you're giving more than you're getting, and when a woman is showing you through her behavior that she doesn't see your worth. This isn't about blaming women or being bitter. It's about being a man who stands on his value and refuses to settle for less than respect. The modern dating world is filled with distractions and games, and if you don't stay sharp, you'll get caught in situations where you're being used or taken for granted. That's not the life you want, and it's not the standard you should accept. In this video, I'm going to break down 5 clear behaviors that reveal when a woman doesn't value you. If you notice even one of these consistently, it's a warning. If you see more than one, it's time to take action. Let's get into it. 1. She disrespects you. Respect is the foundation of any healthy relationship. Without it, love, attraction, and loyalty fall apart quickly. When a woman doesn't value you, the first thing you'll notice is a lack of respect, sometimes subtle, sometimes direct. And here's the hard truth: once disrespect shows up consistently, it rarely goes away. Disrespect comes in many forms. It might be the way she talks to you, cutting you off when you speak, rolling her eyes, mocking your opinions, or dismissing your feelings. Sometimes it's public, like making fun of you in front of friends or family. Other times it's private, where she undermines your decisions or makes you feel small during disagreements. A woman who values you won't always agree with you, but she will disagree with dignity. If she consistently talks down to you, raises her voice unnecessarily, or treats you as if your input doesn't matter, she's showing that she doesn't see you as an equal. Disrespect also shows up in the way she treats your boundaries. If you clearly state something that matters to you and she ignores it, pushes against it, or laughs it off, that's not love. It's disregard. A woman who values you will at least acknowledge your limits, even if she doesn't fully understand them. But a woman who doesn't value you will cross those lines repeatedly without caring how it affects you. One of the biggest mistakes men make is tolerating this kind of treatment because they're afraid of losing her. They think, maybe she didn't mean it, or I'll let it slide to keep the peace. But every time you allow disrespect to slide, you train her to believe it's acceptable. And the longer you stay silent, the more that behavior grows. Here's what you need to understand. Women naturally test men. They test to see if you stand firm in who you are or if you crumble under pressure. If you let disrespect continue, she loses respect for you even more. And once respect is gone, attraction soon follows. So, what should you do? The moment you notice disrespect becoming a pattern, call it out calmly but firmly. You don't need to argue or raise your voice. Simply let her know, I don't allow myself to be spoken to that way. Then pay attention to how she responds. If she values you, she'll adjust. If she doesn't, she'll brush it off or even get defensive. Either way, you'll know where you stand. A man who values himself demands respect without begging for it. You don't need to force her to treat you right. You simply need to set the standard and be ready to walk away if it isn't met. Respect is non-negotiable. The moment it disappears, so does the possibility of a healthy future with her. 2. She doesn't prioritize you. When a woman truly values you, you won't have to wonder where you stand in her life. She'll show you by making time, putting in effort, and making sure you feel included. But when she doesn't value you, her actions will tell a different story. You'll constantly feel like an afterthought, not a priority. Pay attention to her consistency. Does she only reach out when she's bored, lonely, or needs something? Or does she make an effort to spend time with you, even when it's not convenient? A woman who values you will carve out time, no matter how busy life gets. But a woman who doesn't will always have an excuse. She'll cancel plans last minute, avoid committing to anything solid, and treat your presence as optional. One of the clearest signs is where you fall on her list of priorities compared to everything else: friends, social media, or even strangers. If she spends hours scrolling online, chatting with everyone else, but can't take 5 minutes to return your call or text, that tells you everything. Effort is never about having time. It's about making time. Another way this shows up is in her level of involvement in your life. Does she show genuine interest in your goals, your challenges, and the things that matter to you? Or does she brush them off and only care about herself? A woman who values you will support you, check in on you, and want to be part of your world. But if she treats your ambitions like they don't matter, that's a sign she doesn't see your future as connected to hers. Too many men fall into the trap of overcompensating here. They chase harder, put in more effort, and try to prove themselves worthy of her attention. But here's the truth. If she wanted to prioritize you, she would. A woman who values you will make space in her life without being begged. The more you do everything for her while she gives nothing back, the more she learns she doesn't need to invest in you. Here's a reality check. You should never have to fight for your spot in a woman's life. If she's always too busy for you but makes time for everything else, that's not busyness, it's a choice. And when someone repeatedly chooses everything else over you, that's a lack of value. What should you do? Stop over-investing in someone who under-invests in you. Pull back and observe. When you stop chasing, her true feelings will show. If she values you, she'll step up. If she doesn't, she'll let you fade out without much care. And as painful as that feels, it's better to know than to waste months or years being sidelined. A relationship should never feel like you're begging for a seat at the table. The right woman will make you a priority naturally. If you're constantly questioning whether she cares enough to make time for you, that's your answer. 3. She only takes, never gives. One of the clearest signs a woman doesn't value you is when the relationship feels one-sided. You're the one always giving. Your time, your money, your energy, your effort, while she simply takes without giving anything back. At first, it might feel like you're just being generous, but over time, you'll start to feel drained, unappreciated, and used. Think about it. Are you always the one initiating? Do you plan the dates, send the first text, check in when she's quiet, and make sacrifices to keep things going? Meanwhile, when you step back, does she do anything to meet you halfway? Or does the whole relationship fall apart without your effort? A woman who values you will pour into you too. She'll initiate sometimes, surprise you with her thoughtfulness, and invest emotionally. But if she only takes, she sees you as a convenience, not a partner. This kind of behavior also shows up in the way she responds to your needs. If you're stressed, tired, or going through something, does she show care? Or does she dismiss it and make everything about her? A woman who values you will recognize when you're giving a lot and will want to give back. But a woman who doesn't will act entitled, as if your effort is expected and never enough. Be careful here, because a lot of men confuse beauty, charm, or affection with value. Just because she looks good on your arm or says sweet things once in a while doesn't mean she's truly invested. Words are cheap. What matters is consistent effort. If she's always receiving but never contributing, she's not with you because of who you are, she's with you because of what you can provide. And let's be honest, when you allow this dynamic, you train her to see you as a provider, not a partner. She knows you'll pick up the slack, so why should she put in effort? Over time, resentment builds inside you. You start to feel unappreciated, but because you've been tolerating it, she doesn't take your feelings seriously. This is where a lot of men burn out, feeling like they gave everything and got nothing in return. So what should you do? Start by paying attention to the balance. If you stop giving for a while, does she step up or does she vanish? A woman who values you will notice and put in effort when you pull back. A woman who doesn't will simply move on to someone else who can give her what she wants. Here's the bottom line. Relationships should feel like a two-way street. It's not about keeping score. It's about both people investing because they care. If you find yourself always giving while she always takes, you're not in a partnership. You're in a transaction. And if that continues, it will never lead to the kind of fulfilling relationship you deserve. A woman who doesn't give back is a woman who doesn't value you. Don't ignore that truth. 4. She keeps you guessing. One of the strongest signs a woman doesn't value you is when she constantly keeps you in a state of confusion. Instead of giving you clarity about where you stand, she leaves you guessing. Some days she's warm and affectionate, other days she's distant and cold. One week she seems all in, the next week she acts like you barely exist. This push and pull behavior is not love, it's control. A woman who values you won't play games with your emotions. She will be consistent, clear, and intentional about showing you that she wants to be with you. But when a woman keeps you guessing, it usually means one of two things. Either she's not serious about you, or she enjoys the power she has by keeping you on edge. Both are dangerous. This behavior often shows up in her communication. She may take hours or even days to reply to your messages, but when she needs something, she expects an instant response. She may cancel plans at the last minute without real explanation, but still get upset if you don't jump at the chance to see her when she is ready. These double standards are meant to keep you chasing, always unsure of how she feels, always working harder to earn her attention. Another way she keeps you guessing is by sending mixed signals. She might flirt with you but avoid committing to anything serious. She may talk about a future one day, then act like she barely knows you the next. She might even compare you to other men just to make you feel uncertain about your place in her life. This constant emotional roller coaster is draining, and it's designed to keep you hooked. Men often stay in this cycle because they confuse unpredictability with excitement. They tell themselves, she's just complicated, or this is what passion looks like. But the truth is, real love doesn't leave you feeling confused all the time. Real love brings peace, not anxiety. If you're constantly questioning whether she actually cares, that's your answer. She doesn't value you the way she should. What should you do if you find yourself in this situation? Stop playing along. Stop rewarding inconsistency with more effort. If she disappears, don't chase. If she gives you silence, match it. If she wants your attention, let her show consistency before you invest again. A woman who values you won't risk losing you by playing games. But a woman who doesn't value you will only keep you around as long as you tolerate the confusion. Here's the key. Clarity is attractive. Games are not. A woman who truly wants you will make it known. She won't leave you wondering because she respects your time, your emotions, and your energy. If you're constantly left in doubt, it's not by accident. It's by design. And that design benefits her, not you. The moment you recognize she's keeping you guessing, understand this. She doesn't see your value. And a man who knows his worth never stays in a situation where he's treated like an option. 5. She avoids accountability. One of the most telling signs that a woman doesn't value you is her refusal to take responsibility for her actions. In a healthy relationship, both partners admit when they're wrong, apologize sincerely, and work to make things right. But when a woman avoids accountability, she will twist situations, shift blame, and make you feel like the problem, even when she's clearly at fault. This usually shows up in arguments. Instead of owning up to her mistakes, she deflects. If she hurts your feelings, she may say, "You're too sensitive," or "You're overreacting," instead of acknowledging her part. If she cancels plans last minute or ignores your boundaries, she'll find an excuse or blame external circumstances. Over time, this makes you feel like you're always walking on eggshells, trying to avoid conflict, because you know she won't take responsibility anyway. Another way this shows up is in how she handles accountability in the bigger picture of the relationship. If things aren't going well, she never sees her contribution to the problem. Instead, she'll say things like, "You don't do enough for me," or "You're the reason I'm unhappy." A woman who values you will admit when she's wrong and work with you to fix the problem. But one who avoids accountability is more interested in protecting her ego than protecting the relationship. This behavior is toxic because it traps you in a cycle of self-doubt. You start questioning yourself. Am I overreacting? Maybe it is my fault. Over time, you lose confidence and accept blame just to keep the peace. That's exactly how a woman who doesn't value you keeps control, by never facing consequences for her behavior. Here's the reality: everyone makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. But the difference between someone who values you and someone who doesn't is how they handle those mistakes. If she values you, she'll admit when she's wrong, apologize without excuses, and show through her actions that she wants to do better. If she doesn't value you, she'll turn everything into your fault, leaving you drained and unappreciated. So what should you do? Don't get caught in endless debates trying to prove your point. You'll never win with someone who refuses to be accountable. Instead, set a clear standard. You expect honesty, responsibility, and growth. If she can't meet that, then she's showing you she's not willing to build a mature partnership. A man who respects himself doesn't allow himself to be constantly blamed for everything. He knows the difference between constructive criticism and manipulation. The moment you realize she avoids accountability at every turn, you have to accept the truth. She doesn't value you enough to treat you fairly. At the end of the day, relationships require two people willing to take responsibility and grow together. If she can't do that, she's not partner material, she's a burden. And the longer you stay, the more you'll lose yourself. Value yourself enough to walk away from anyone who refuses to own their actions. At the end of the day, a woman's actions speak louder than her words. If she disrespects you, doesn't prioritize you, only takes without giving, keeps you guessing, or avoids accountability, she's showing you where you truly stand in her life. You deserve more than to be treated as an option or a convenience. As a man, your time, your energy, and your love are valuable. Don't hand them to someone who doesn't recognize their worth. The right woman won't make you question your value. She'll confirm it every day. Never settle. Protect your dignity and choose respect above all.